how important is it for a cosplayer to collaborate when they're creating content, or even if they're just trying to attend an event, a convention or a dance meetup, whatever?
Mm, yeah, I think that the collaboration aspect of cosplay is just it's just a huge part of it. I feel like when you go into cosplay thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be the best and I'm gonna be the most famous, it's not very you're not going to have a good time yourself. The people around you are not going to have a good time with you if you're just like, oh, like I'm just here to be famous. Like it's just not a good time for anybody, I feel like. So one, I think it's just more fun to try to make new friends and genuine connections. And two, I feel like that's like a secret key to popularity. Uh, like not like in a malicious or mean way, but I feel like when you go out there and you support other people in your field, then they support you too. But of course, you have to genuinely support them. You can't just be like, "Hey, I liked your post, so you need to like mine too." But I think it's important to be appreciative of other people in your field. So I really enjoy looking at other cosplayers and being like, wow, I really admire your work. And like in my head, like everybody's their own like mini celebrity. So it always feels amazing when they come up to me and they're like, oh, hi, how are you doing? I'm like, well, I've been looking up to you for years and you're being so casual with me. Wow. So to me, I don't think of myself as like a big shot or anything. And I just like to admire everybody else and their great work. And I feel like the same goes for photography too. I think for photographers, I think it's important to work with other photographers too, so that way you can pick up other skills from them. Like maybe they shoot in a certain way that you've never thought of, and you guys can collaborate. I know in SoCal, there's a very cool challenge going around within the photographer community here. I think it was called like the 5 minute model challenge, where you get one model and then like one scenery and then maybe three photographers, and then they all shoot with that model for 5 minutes each. And it's very interesting to see what comes out of that. Like it's the same model, the same location or background, but with three different photographers, you can have so many different outcomes. And I think that was like a very, very cool challenge. And I feel like that can easily be done in other situations, especially at conventions where it's basically a giant gathering of photographers and cosplayers. So it's fun to wear the same cosplay and work with different photographers and see like their different takes on your cosplay. But then it's also fun to see like other people in the same cosplay as you and see like, oh wow, I like how you did this detail. I like how you did that detail, and talk with them. Like, I like how you styled your wig. Like, what did you do? What products did you use? Or I really like your makeup. And so I think it's important to reach out to other people in a genuine way, not in a like usy kind of way, and just let them know like, hey, I genuinely think you're very cool. I really admire you. And then maybe ask like, can you spare some tips? And if not, that's okay too.
Just the fact that cosplay and photography as an extension has gotten to that point, it's a testament to how incredible technology is and how open people are as well. Because even 10 years ago, when we did have social media and we did have, everyone had a camera in their phone and photography was on the rise, you didn't see that sort of networking. You didn't see that sort of collaboration and friendly competition amongst photographers and cosplayers. And maybe it's just because that's something that I didn't see very much within my scene until pretty recently, 2018. Honestly, I work
Mm-hmm.
within content creation, so just hearing about photographers working with another photographer for a particular model, like very rarely would that happen. But I've seen things similar to the challenge that you mentioned, and even with things like TikTok, where you're encouraged to create content that can be shared and expanded upon with others. That is, to me, the best direction for cosplay to go in. The more that you bring people together, everyone will get exponentially better because they're growing with one another, they're sharing tips, and the cosplayers are the ones who are really benefiting too, because it's the luxury of working with so many talented people that are bringing out things that you may not have seen within yourself. That to me is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I love the point you brought about TikTok. Like that exactly. Like when you collaborate with each other, you make each other better, and then you both climb to the top together. So I think like that's a great aspect of that. And on that note too, I coming from Arizona where I started out and then I eventually moved to California, I also noticed similar differences. And I don't know, like earlier you said when California is like the mecca for these things, it really is. And I don't really know why in particular. Maybe it's a very large population, but coming from Arizona, I also got that vibe where people, I don't know, maybe they were shy, but they didn't really like interact as much with each other. And it was crazy to me when I first started going to California conventions because at the time I still lived in Arizona, and yet so many people would come up to me and they'd say, "Oh, you're really cool. Let's shoot sometime. Like, do you live in the area?" And then I'd always be like, "Oh, thank you. You're so nice, but no, I fly home on Sunday. Like, I'm not around." And like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll see you at I don't know, like Crunchyroll Expo, right? Oh, when is that? Oh, that's another California convention. Oh, okay. I'll have to budget for that, but if I can go, I'll let you know." So I feel like, yeah, California for conventions and anime and photography, for some reason, everyone's really friendly here and like really likes collaboration. And I also only noticed that sort of energy recently in Arizona as well. I would also say about like 2018, I started noticing that. And by then I had already moved out. But yeah, so it would be great if more places could be like that too.
I'm sure at some point it will be that way. There are pockets throughout America that have a very, very strong cosplay community, regardless of their population. Like I've heard that Indiana is a great spot for conventions, and obviously Portland has always been great for any sort of celebration, music, dance, cosplay, and it's only just growing and expanding outwards. Washington as well, but I think maybe it's the rise of idol culture, gaming, and anime. All of that did come up in tandem. Like within 5 years, everything was on pretty much equal playing field. I remember people in college asking me about the shirt I was wearing, and it was a One Piece T-shirt that I absolutely love. I picked it up at the first Toronto Comic Con we had. It was like a very small version of it, and I think 2013, I want to say. So just right around the time I started college, 2013, 2014, sometime around there. And those same people, I follow them on Instagram now, and even though we've gone separate ways, now they're cosplaying. They're deep. I think they're much deeper into anime than me, and just to see them still talk to some people from college that I'm also familiar with, and they have a reaction channel where they're watching anime and they're going to the Toronto and the Montreal conventions. That's incredible to see. But then you also start seeing them streaming as well. They've gotten very deep into this culture, and I think it's just because if you have an interest in gaming, there will probably be overlap with idol stuff and VTubers and cosplay, and they all really work hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, I do agree. It seems like when you're interested in one part of this, I don't know, they call it fandom or whatever, you do get to see like bits and pieces of the others. Like everything does eventually blend into each other. Like I also felt like I had that experience where I got into cosplay, and then from there I met like cosplay dancers, and then from there I just met like straight up like K-pop dancers. And so it seems like cosplay seems to be like something that's like right in the middle of all of these different fields. And so when you come in being like, "Oh, I just like anime. Oh, I don't play any video games, whatever," you kind of end up moving into video games or idol culture or somehow K-pop to somehow what I think somehow these um, forms of media are all like very close to each other.
They are. And K-pop will find a way to get you. Some way, somehow. It's going to get you. I ordered the BTS meal from McDonald's a couple days ago. I didn't even want it. I don't even really listen to BTS like that. But just something about those pretty boys and their catchy music. It got me. It got me.
Something about them.